Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. This week you join me with the brand new Ford Focus Vignale. So as always, I will take you around the car, talk you through the specification and also give you my initial impressions. So Vignale, what is it all about? Well, Vignale is the range topping version of the Focus, Fiesta, Edge, Mondeo and the Cougar. And it is all about offering a touch of luxury to some of Ford's models. So as you will soon see, there's plenty of leather inside, but for the time being I will focus on the outside. And not only do you get a more premium car, but the actual buying experience is also a little bit different. So you get a relationship manager, you can have the car cleaned for free at Ford dealerships, and it is a little bit of a more bespoke kind of ownership. You may have noticed that on this car you don't have any Focus badges whatsoever. Instead, they are replaced by Vignale. So you've got it on the tailgate, you've also got it on the front wings, like so, on the scuff plates, and you have it on the seats as well. Common lighting. You also get it come up on the touchscreen, but it has disappeared for the time being. Actually, whilst I'm here, let me give you a quick glimpse of the inside. As I mentioned, you have plenty of leather, you have these very sumptuous seats, and you also have leather on the dash as well as wood. I think that's wood effect as opposed to real wood, but it gives you the idea of luxury. And you know, if this is fake wood, it's certainly more convincing than the fake wood used in the Honda CR-V, which, yeah, I do think is quite garish. Now, speaking of garish, as standard, the Vignale does come with these 18-inch liquid aluminium alloy wheels, and they're quite blingy. They are chrome alloys, and yeah, they aren't really to my taste. What do you guys think? Yeah, they are quite blingy and quite garish, and yes, given the choice, I wouldn't have them. Now, the paintwork is also quite interesting. So this paint is optional, but it is only available for the Vignale. It is called Dark Mulberry, and let me come around here so you can see it actually in the light a bit better. Again, like the alloys, I'm not a big fan of this colour. It doesn't do anything for me, and I just think it looks... I'm really trying to think of a nice way of putting this, but it isn't particularly tasteful, let's put it that way. Also, as part of the Vignale specification, you get a different front grille compared to the rest of the Focus range. And I must admit, I do quite like the front grille. It's quite interesting and, yeah, quite unusual, but in a good way. The front bumper, well, you know, I was going to say the front bumper is also different, but I believe the rear bumper is as well. So, yes, the exterior does have a different look compared to the other Focus model, so it shouldn't be too difficult to differentiate this from, let's say, a titanium. As standard, I have LED headlights, but I do have the optional adaptive lighting system. I have LED front fog lights with cornering function. They are standard as well. Front and rear parking sensors, tinted rear windows. I do have an automatic tailgate, but that is an optional extra. So to open it, I just literally simply swipe my foot like so. And hey presto, it is opened first time. And whilst I'm here, let me show you the boot. Now, as always, it's got all of my filming crap in here, but I will cut to a clip where the boot is empty, or at least emptier. But what you are looking at is 608 litres worth of space, which I'm sure you'll agree is very generous. If you put the rear seats down, you'll get 1,650 litres, and the boot is very usable. The opening is wide, it is practical, the load lip is low, there's no nasty step into the boot. So yes, I think this boot will be just fine for many buyers. To fold the rear seats down, it's very easy. You've got a lever either side. Let me demonstrate it. And there we go, the rear seats fold down, and they also fold pretty flat, which is quite handy. You've got hooks in here so you can hang up your shopping so it doesn't roll about as you drive along. Again, that's very practical, quite ingenious. and you've also got a 12-volt socket. You do have a space saver spare wheel, but I can't quite get to it because I've got all of my stuff on top of the boot floor, but I will cut to a clip where you can see it. And to pop the tailgate back down, you can either press this button here, or you can do the same thing. Hopefully this will work. There we go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now, whilst I'm here, I just want to point something out, which does annoy me a little bit. Now, you've got these quite fancy chrome surrounds on the rear bumper, but as you can probably predict, they are fake. So, if I bring you here, you can see the real exhaust pipe is lurking there. But if I bring you around to this side, you will see this has got nothing in it. So, yeah, that sort of thing does annoy me a little bit, but I suppose that's quite, that's quite a small issue. Right, the rain is starting to pour, so let me move inside. Wow, that's really starting to come down quite heavily, actually. So I think I timed that quite right. So let's talk about space in the rear. Now, as always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am, of course, a taller chap. But as you can see, I've got a decent amount of knee room, and legroom is also pretty good. Let me just flip you guys around so you get to see it better. So as you can see, I've got a good amount of legroom, even though the seat is set for my height. Now, headroom isn't quite as good because I do have the panoramic roof, which is optional for this car, which is a little bit disappointing. I think for the range-topping version, the panoramic roof should be standard, but the pano roof does eat into headroom, so I've got a bit left over. Let me bring you up higher, guys. So it's not drastically bad, but yes, if you do go for the panoramic roof, do bear in mind that you will lose a bit of headroom. Space in the back, though, on the whole, is pretty good. Could you fit 3 adults back here? I think you could. It may be a bit of a squeeze, but I think it is doable. But if you only have 1 or 2 passengers in the rear, they can make use of this centre armrest. Pull it down like so. And you've got a bit of extra comfort, as well as 2 cup holders, which is practical. You also have these nets, which kind of remind me of an old school mini cab. All I really need now is like a beaded seat cover and like an A to Z map in here or something. But yes, you do have that for a bit of extra storage. You've got a 12-volt socket down here, so if your rear passengers want to charge their mobile or their tablet, they can do so. But obviously, there's only one, so there may be a fight for it. I forgot to mention earlier, but the transmission tunnel is quite slim, so that will make fitting 3 people in the rear less of a chore. And the door bins are also of a good size, so you can fit a bottle of drink in there with no issues. Right, anything else to report for the rear? No, I think we are good. So let's step out into the summer rain and make my way into the front of the car. Actually, before I do so, I don't believe I've spoken about prices. So the Vignale, if you go for the 5-door hatchback, it starts from £26,145, but as you can see, I do have the estate. Therefore, this would normally start from £27,245, but this car does have a few optional extras, and I also have the 1.5 litre EcoBoost engine, so that does push the price up a little bit. So the car you see right here, right now, is £31,575. Right, let's speak about the options. So I've got the adaptive lighting system, that is an option. The paint, that is an option. The panoramic roof, that is an option. Inside I've got a wireless phone charging pad, which I will show you in a few moments. I've got blind spot warning, that is optional. And I also have a few, I've got the driver assistance pack, which again is optional. So yes, keyless entry is standard though, but the car is already unlocked. Let me show you the inside of the seats. The seats are very nice. They're very sumptuous. You also get heated front seats and a heated steering wheel. And I have to say, dropping yourself into these seats is very pleasant. Right, let me close the door like so. Let me quickly turn the ignition on as you turn the engine on, like so. Now, sadly, you don't get a digital display, but the panel is backlit, and it does kind of give the impression that it is digital, but it isn't. It is analog, but as analog displays go, it is pretty good. You do get a head-up display as standard. You may just be able to see the little icons there. So you've got one for the speed limit on the right-hand side. The one on the left-hand side is what gives you your speed, and it also gives you your lane lane departure warning. Sorry, right, let me turn the aircon down because that's actually become quite prominent in here. I say aircon, I've got dual zone climate control as standard. I've also got an 8-inch touchscreen with DAB radio, Bluetooth, smartphone connectivity and navigation. Pretty standard stuff. It all works pretty well, but if you want to have a more in-depth look of how the Ford Sync 3 system works, please click the video in the right-hand corner of your screen now. But yes, I do have plenty of kit, but I suppose you would expect that. I've got a choice of different driving modes like you get in other Focus models. So I've got normal, eco or sport. Very handy indeed, very nice. As I mentioned, I may have mentioned earlier, I've got front and rear parking sensors. I've got park assist, and I've got a wide view rear camera. So I can change the modes like so. But I prefer that one, and you've got the front and rear parking sensors just there. What other features can I talk you through? So I've also got cruise control. I've got adaptive cruise control, but if I'm not mistaken, that is part of the optional driver assistance pack. So I've got the B&O sound system, which is standard, which is pretty pleasant to listen to, I must say. So yes, this does have a lot of toys, and it does have a very generous specification. Right, so let me talk you through the practicality. So the door bins are of a good size. We've got my bottle of water in there. This bottle, in case you're wondering, is 850 millilitres, but it fits in pretty well, as you can see. And I've got a little bit of space left over for a chocolate bar perhaps, or a smaller item. You also have a little compartment here, which isn't very big, but you can pop one or two smaller items in there. Close it up like so. In the middle, you've got a bit where you can pop your smartphone, and this, as I mentioned earlier, or I should have mentioned earlier, this car does have the wireless phone charging pad. In fact, I don't think I did mention it. Anyway, that's beside the point. Yes, I do have a wireless phone charging pad, but that is an optional extra. But if you don't go for this option, you do have a USB port here and a 12-volt socket. Got a little slot here where you can pop the car key if you wanted to, and in here you've got cup holders, which I think are quite ingenious, because these adjust so you can tailor it to the size of your bottle or your cup or your flask, and it just means it's more secure. So I'm quite a big fan of that. But if you don't want to use it, you can simply cover it up and it gives you a cleaner look. You've got a sunglasses holder just here. Oh, and of course you've got the panoramic roof, so let me demonstrate that. There we go. Does it open it any further? Nope, that's your lot. But still, you get a bit of summer coming into the car, which is quite nice when it isn't raining, of course. And to close it up, hit this button like so. And you do also have a blind in case you want to keep the sun out. Here it comes. Almost there. And there we go. We are now blocking out the elements. Right, in here you've got more storage. You can pop some loose change in here if you wanted to, but this can simply be lifted out, and as you can see, you have more storage, and you've got another USB port in here. This armrest is also adjustable, so you can slide it forwards or backwards to suit your needs, so that's quite comfortable. And of course, last but not least, you do get a glove box, which offers a decent amount of space. What I quite like is you have a separate shelf for the owner's manual, so it means that it doesn't clog up any space of the main glove box itself. But just to give you an idea of space, actually, in fact, let me take those high-vis jackets out. So as you can see, it is a decent amount of space, and the back of it is lined with fabric, which is a pleasant touch. And the same can be said for the door bins. Again, they are lined with fabric, as you may be able to see. I do have a 6-speed manual gearbox for this car, but you can have an 8-speed auto if you prefer. I have used the 8-speed speed auto. It's pretty decent on the whole, but me personally, I would prefer to have the manual. But if you do want to go for the automatic, rest assured it is a decent enough gearbox. Right, let me step out and talk you through the engine. So let me turn it off for starters. Right, and I need to come around to the passenger side to pull the lever to open the bonnet. Right, so here we go. That bonnet is quite heavy. So what you are looking at is a 1.5 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder EcoBoost engine. It offers 182 horsepower with 240 newton meters of torque, if I'm not mistaken. If you want that in pound feet, that is 177, if I'm not mistaken. In regard to performance, this will hit 62 miles per hour in 8.5 seconds, and the top speed is 137 miles per hour. In regards to economy, on a combined run, this will offer 44.1 mpg, and the emissions come in at 126 grams per kilometre. So for the first year of VED, you'll be required to pay £170. Right, let me pop the bonnet down like so. Oh, that's not quite gone down properly. There we go. So if you don't want this particular engine, you can have a 1 litre EcoBoost engine, which offers 125 horsepower. That can also be mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox or the 8-speed auto. Or if you want to have a diesel, you can either have, you've got a 1.5 litre EcoBlue diesel, which offers 120 horsepower, or you can have the 2 litre EcoBlue diesel, which offers 150 horsepower. All of the engines mentioned can either be made to the 6-speed manual or the 8-speed automatic, and in case you are wondering, power is fed to the front wheels. Right, I don't think I've got anything else to say for the time being. There will of course be a full review coming, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. If you aren't subscribed already, please do so and ring my bell so you get notified every time I make a video. For my regular viewers, if you are expecting a Patsy Rates Cars video with this car, I'm afraid it won't happen. Patsy, she's been very busy lately because we are in the process of moving house, and yeah, if I'm going to be honest, she's been really stressed and she is quite run down, so she hasn't joined me for today. She is at home getting some much deserved rest. Right, so I hope you have enjoyed this video, or I hope you have found it useful. If so, be sure to like, subscribe and to ring my bell so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.